Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to another episode of LEGO Arts. So, in the previous episode, we did a showcase on Wolverine as a solo minifigure. And this episode, we are doing another fun little project on Wallace and Gromit. So, the God of War Ragnarok project, I am taking my time with it, and while the process is still going along smoothly, I am working on Brock now. I thought about keeping up with episodes and decided to go out to a couple of fun side projects that I've been meaning to get around to, but kept pushing it off. And one of them was Wallace and Gromit. I had got these head molds from Natesminifigs a while back and kept them in storage. Storage is sort of saving it for a good time of getting around to them. And with the project coming along the way, I decided to you know what? It's been a while since I've touched on these. Why don't we go ahead and see about getting around to detailing them and customizing the whole 9 yards. And the final results for them came out pretty good. These are pretty simple figures, but in the end results still turned out really, really cool. And I'm glad that I finally got around to doing them. Otherwise, they would have just stayed in storage for the time being. So, as you guys know the drill, we're going to take these minifigures one at a time, review them, explain the process, why there's around, and then go from there. So, without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get the showcase on the road. So first up, we'll be taking a look at Wallace here. Now, really looking at the figure, this is actually kind of more of a half custom, really, than a full custom. As a lot of these parts are mostly just plain Lego, and the most work that I really put into was the torso and the head. So the head, this was actually 3D printed by Natesminifigs. As a while back, he decided to do a couple of cartoon classics, and I think he did Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, and I believe also Amazing World of Gumball, and as well as Regular Show, I think is what it's called. But he did a couple of cartoon mold heads, and I decided I really like Wallace and Gromit. So I got a pack with both Wallace and Gromit, and this also came in with a second Wallace head. And I said, I guess one of the other molds that he does of either an alternate smile or when he's eating cheese. I personally liked this one a bit more, so I mostly just painted up this one. But I'm still keeping this head as future reference, as well as if I ever decide to do another alternate head for him. But the paintwork that I really put into this was mostly just the base tone was just the flesh coloration, and then thankfully I was able to paint in the teeth without messing them up too much. Again, white paint on Lego is apparently an arch nemesis for it. And then in the mouth, you can kind of see I went with this red wine as sort of the insides of the mouth, and into the mouth. Same thing with just white paint, and then painted on the black dots for the pupil. In the lights, it is pretty reflective. So that is a pretty cool detailing that's kind of unintentional, but at the same time it completes more of the figure to it. Right? The torso was sort of a base body of just a text of a tan, I believe. And also with these arms, I pretty much cannot remove them as they were stuck onto the figure. So it was a process of just painting around the torso while being careful not to paint up the arms as they would match up the shirt underneath. Once the base painting was done of the dark green, I went in with the acrylic marker and just drew in all the detailing that's on his sweater vest, and then went back in with a little bit of detailing on the tie and whatnot. This torso actually was sort of a suit, sort of some kind of suit underneath that. I tried to erase a portion of this, so sort of to keep up with the base of it, but I did have to do some paint work, so I wound up painting over it in the end. And on the back, the detailing does continue onwards. That thankfully this was all able to stay in place, as there was a couple of stuff that I accidentally messed up a little bit, but was able to repair it. And then the legs are pretty simple, of just some brown pants, and painted on the black with sort of the black boots. And overall, a pretty simple figure, but matches up pretty well with Wallace on the shorts, the little cartoon shorts, which is pretty cool. I could kind of see Lego doing something like this, especially if it was a callback to how they did Toy Story. And overall, a pretty simple figure, but it's pretty fun to make in the end. And last up we have is Gromit. This one was way easier to do, as Gromit's design is pretty simple. So when I'm doing this guy, mostly the most of the work that I really had to do was just do the overall base paint. Unfortunately, like with Wallace, like the arms were stuck in the body, so I was not able to remove them without damaging them. As lately with some of those figure parts that I've been working with have been damaged when trying to pull them apart and modify them slightly. So this one I had to be careful of painting on and make sure that the paint stays on, especially when moving this figure. So the most of the work that, again, mostly been done was the sculpted head that once again printed by Natesminifigs and really nailed it on accuracy with Gromit. Like the paintwork, and were again like pretty simple of just doing like the base in sort of a tannish coloration, and then painting on the nose. I actually forgot about that until like last minute of realizing, oh yeah, I still need to paint in his nose and in the ears. As well, and on the back I painted on just a little tail, as I also kept forgetting of like, oh yeah, he has that, so painted it on, and then like he's got short legs, and it's pretty simple, and again simple like minifigure torso that I just painted on. Overall, like a pretty simple figure, like again the only challenging part really was sort of like painting this on without damaging any of the arms. In the arms, I would wish that I was able to remove the arms and like do like a full paintwork and detailing with this guy. But in the end, it still turned out to be a pretty like simple but fun figure to do. And I do like some of these minifigures of like if it's not completely messed up, it's still a fun figure to like come out to and just do fun detailing with it. And again, in the end, it was like pretty fun. And again, Nate really nailed it with the accuracy in the head mold. And that is going to do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm really glad that I was finally able to get around to doing this, because I get a lot of custom parts that I intend to use for future projects, and most of the time I just keep them in storage, waiting to eventually get around to doing them. But I'm really glad that I was able to have the time to get around to doing this one, as it was really like fun and simple project to do. And there's gonna be a lot of them, like as I'm working more on like the bigger projects. Like so far, the biggest 3 that I got is God of War Ragnarok. I'm going to be saving for the 150th special, which to show you a little bit of progress, I'll show you real quick. Angrboda has been complete. This is as much as you're going to see, as the rest of the showcase. Okay, so will be featured in. But I am trying to keep up with like some progress on my Instagram page, so you can check out below of like some of the progress I've been making here and there, and then also, so the Batman family is almost finished. Like just waiting on a couple more stuff, and then it'll be good to go. And then I have not started yet, but I do plan to do Lego Bendy and the Dark Revival, especially with a bunch of like new monsters and characters that I am going to be doing that one. And I have decided to start plans for the Halo Reach project. So we'll see where that goes. In the meantime, I am going to be doing a couple of like some fun projects, one of which that I have finished up with a similar scenario that I was working with Wallace and Gromit, and is probably most likely going to be the next episode. So keep your eyes and ears peeled out for that one. And overall, that is pretty much going to be it for this episode. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want to keep up with updates for like future stuff here and there, consider subscribing to the channel, as well as sharing it out to other people, so that way we can continue to grow, expand and be able to create more fun projects. And overall, that'll be it. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Bye bye.